The first light of dawn touches the landscape with a soft glow. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of damp earth and fresh-cut grass. In the modest stone cottage near the miller rises slowly, careful not to wake his sleeping wife and children. He pulls on his rough woolen tunic and sturdy leather boots, the fabric worn but warm against the early morning chill. Stepping outside, he pauses, taking a moment to appreciate the gentle hush of the world before it stirs to life. The thatched roofs of neighboring cottages glisten with dew, and the quiet murmuring of the river is a steady companion. Each morning begins the same, a moment of gratitude, a breath of clean, unhurried air. He walks the familiar path to the mill, the ground beneath him firm and cool. The gentle burble of the stream grows louder as he approaches, and the wooden water wheel, silent and still for now, waits patiently for the day's work. The mill stands proud, its weathered beams holding centuries of labor, a testament to the enduring rhythm of life in this medieval village. The miller's first task is to check the sluice gates, ensuring the water will flow steadily when he needs it. He moves with calm deliberation, his hands practiced and sure as he inspects the worn stone walls that cradle the stream. There is no rush here, no hurry to the unfolding day, only the slow, dependable cycle of water and stone, grain and flour. The miller knows that his day will be long, but he does not mind. The quiet labor of the mill is a comfort, a rhythm as soothing as the lapping water. He takes a moment to listen, truly listen, to the stream's soft music, a sound that has accompanied millers for generations. With a final glance at the sky's pale wash of pink and blue, he returns to his mill, ready to begin. Inside the mill, the air is cool and filled with the faint scent of old timber, worn smooth by years of use. Dust from countless grindings clings to the beams in gentle drifts, and the stone floor bears the quiet testament of footsteps long forgotten. The miller moves slowly through this space, his every motion part of an age-old dance. He checks the millstones first, feeling their rough surfaces with careful hands. They are the heart of the mill, two heavy circles of quarried stone that turn slowly to crush the grain. Today, they are in good repair, no cracks, no chips, just the steady promise of work to be done. He wipes away a thin layer of flour from the stones, almost reverently, as if greeting an old friend. Next, he inspects the wooden gears and shafts that harness the water wheel's gentle power. He listens to the slight creaks and groans of the ancient wood, each sound a familiar voice in the quiet morning. A dab of animal fat here, a tightening of a rope there. Small acts of care that ensure the mill's smooth turning throughout the day. The miller hums softly to himself as he works. His song is an old tune, one he learned from his father, and will someday pass to his son. It is a song of peace, of patient labor. There is no need for haste, only the slow, measured progress of the day. Outside, the stream whispers on, a constant companion to his careful work. Finally, he opens the wooden shutters to let in the soft morning light. Dust motes dance in the golden beams, and the mill seems to breathe in the gentle warmth. With everything in place, the miller steps back and takes a deep breath, savoring the quiet readiness of the space. The mill is prepared, and so is he. With the mill ready, the miller turns to the grain that waits in heavy sacks in the storehouse. The burlap is coarse beneath his fingertips, and the weight of the grain is reassuring. Each sack has been filled with care by local farmers, neighbors and friends who trust him to turn their harvests into the bread that will feed their families. He carries each sack to the mill, one by one, moving with a deliberate slowness that honors the labor of those who grew it. His steps are measured, steady, each footfall a quiet echo in the morning air. He pauses often to shift the weight, careful not to strain his back. In this world, the strength of a man's body is a precious resource, and he guards it with the same care he gives to his millstones. The grain smells sweet and earthy, a scent that speaks of warm sun and fertile fields. The miller knows each farmer by name and can often tell who grew which grain by the color of the husks or the shape of the kernels. It is a quiet intimacy, the bond between those who work the land and those who shape its bounty. When the last sack is in place, the miller wipes the sweat from his brow and rests for a moment. Outside, the sun has climbed a little higher, its light warmer now, but still gentle. Birds sing in the hedgerows, their clear notes weaving through the soft murmur of the stream. The miller smiles, content in the knowledge that he is part of this larger tapestry of soil and water, labor and rest. With the grain gathered, the true work of the day can begin. The heart of the mill's quiet magic lies in the waterwheel, a simple yet wondrous device that harnesses the gentle power of the river. The miller walks to the sluice gates, their wooden beams darkened by years of flowing water. With careful hands, he lifts the lever, and the gate swings open with a sigh. Water rushes forward, a silver ribbon of motion that turns the great wooden wheel with patient force. The creak of wood and the soft splash of water blend into a soothing symphony, a song of motion and purpose. The miller watches the wheel turn, its paddles catching the current with a grace that seems almost effortless. Inside the mill, he hears the first low rumble of the gears as they come to life. The millstones begin their slow, deliberate turning, and the air fills with the soft, rhythmic sound of grinding, a music as old as the village itself. There is no haste, no frantic clatter, only the patient turning of stone against stone, the quiet murmur of water and wood. The miller takes a moment to rest his hands on the stone wall, feeling its cool, damp strength beneath his palms. He closes his eyes, letting the sounds wash over him, a meditation in motion. Here, in the turning of the wheel and the steady rumble of the stones, he finds a kind of peace that words cannot name. When he opens his eyes, he sees the water wheel turning steadily, the river's gift made visible. He nods once, a silent prayer of thanks, and returns to the mill. The day's work is truly begun. Within the mill, the world seems to slow to the pace of the turning stones. The miller moves from sack to sack, measuring each portion of grain with practiced hands. He pours the grain into the wooden hopper above the millstones, listening to the gentle rattle as it flows down into the grinding chamber. The stones turn slowly, their rough faces meeting in an ancient dance. Grain is caught between them, broken down into fine, pale flour that spills out in a soft stream. The miller watches with calm satisfaction, adjusting the stones as needed to ensure the flour is just right, not too coarse, not too fine. There is no hurry in this work. Each turn of the wheel, each soft sigh of flour is a moment to be savored. The miller works in quiet companionship with his tools, his movements unhurried, his thoughts clear. He knows the weight of each stone, the whisper of the grain as it grinds away. These are the sounds of his life, as familiar as his own heartbeat. Between tasks, he brushes away stray flour from the wooden beams, the fine white dust clinging to the lines of his hands. He wipes his brow with a linen cloth, the fabric soft against his weathered skin. Outside, the water wheel turns on, indifferent to the world's distractions. The miller hums his old tune, the notes mingling with the gentle grinding. It is a song of patience, of quiet purpose. The flour piles up slowly, pale and soft, ready to become the bread that sustains the village. He pauses only to adjust the sluice gates as the river S flow shifts, a dance between water and stone that he knows by heart. The work goes on, steady and sure, a slow unfolding of the day's quiet promise. As the millstones continue their patient turning, the miller steps outside to take a brief respite. The day has advanced, the sun now high in the sky, its warm light glancing off the gentle ripples of the river. The water wheel creaks and turns, a steady pulse in the quiet world. He sits on a worn wooden bench beneath a small oak tree, its leaves rustling in the soft breeze. Here, in the shade, he takes a simple meal from his satchel, a crust of bread, a small wheel of cheese, and an apple still cool from the morning air. He eats slowly, each bite a quiet gratitude for the sustenance and the calmness of the day. As he eats, he watches the village in the distance. Wisps of smoke rise from chimneys, children's laughter drifts faintly on the breeze, and the distant shapes of farmers in the fields bend and straighten in their own slow rhythm. It is a peaceful world, bound by the turning of seasons and the patient work of hands. Birdsong carries lightly through the branches above him, and he closes his eyes for a moment, letting the simple melody wash over him. There is no rush, no urgency, only this moment of rest, this brief pause in the quiet journey of the day. When his meal is finished, he wipes his hands on a rough linen cloth and takes a sip from a small flask of cool water. The river murmurs on, its voice as old as the hills, and the miller listens with quiet reverence. He stands stretching his limbs, feeling the weight of the day's work in his shoulders and back. Yet it is a comforting weight, one that speaks of honest labor and the steady beat of time. With a final glance at the sky where white clouds drift lazily against the blue, he returns to the mill, the slow measured pulse of the water wheel calling him back to the work that waits. In the medieval village, the mill is more than a place of work. It is a quiet center of community, a space where neighbors' lives gently intersect. As the miller returns to his task, a young boy arrives with a small sack of grain, shy but eager. The miller greets him with a nod and a gentle smile, recognizing the boy as Thomas, the blacksmith's son. The boy watches with wide eyes as the miller tips the grain into the hopper, explaining softly how the stones turn and how the river's flow guides the work. The miller's words are patient and calm, weaving a slow story of water and stone, of the river's endless gift. The boy listens intently, his small hands clutching the empty sack that will soon carry home the soft white flour. Throughout the day, other villagers come and go. An old woman with a bent back, a young mother with a baby on her hip, a quiet farmer whose face is lined by sun and wind. Each one brings their grain, and the miller greets them all with the same steady kindness. There is no need for haste here, only the gentle exchange of labor and trust. They speak in low voices, sharing news of the harvest, the weather, and the health of the animals. The miller listens with quiet interest, offering a word of comfort or a knowing nod. In this way, the mill is not just a place of work, it is a place of gentle connection, of the slow weaving of lives into a tapestry of community. As the day continues, the soft murmur of conversation mingles with the low grind of the stones. The miller feels a quiet pride in this role he plays, not just as a craftsman, but as a keeper of the village's shared rhythms. In the patient turning of the wheel, he finds the quiet heartbeat of the world he knows and loves. The afternoon drifts by with the unhurried pace of the river itself. The miller tends the grinding stones with a watchful eye, adjusting the sluice gates as the river's flow ebbs and swells. The soft light of the afternoon sun slants through the wooden shutters, dust motes floating in the beams of gold like tiny dancers. Outside, the riverbank is drowsy in the heat of the day, and the miller pauses often to drink in the gentle quiet. The water wheel turns on, slow and sure, each paddle dipping into the cool current with patient purpose. The sound of the water lapping against the wheel blends with the low creak of the wooden gears, a simple harmony that soothes the spirit. The flour piles up in steady drifts, pale and fine, a soft promise of bread to come. The miller gathers it in sacks, tying each with rough twine. He works with the same calm deliberation that has guided his every step since dawn, moving slowly but with a confidence that comes from years of quiet practice. When the grind is done, he sets aside a small portion of flour for his family, bread, a simple reward for a day as patient labor. The rest he sets neatly by the door, ready for the villagers to collect when they come again. In the quiet of the afternoon, the mill seems to hold its breath for a moment. The only sounds the steady whisper of the river and the soft shuffle of the miller's feet on the worn stone floor. The sun drifts lower in the sky, the shadows lengthening, and the miller feels the day slipping gently towards its close. He pauses, resting his hands on the wooden beams, and allows himself a moment of stillness. In the hush of the mill, he finds a deep peace, a quiet understanding that this simple, steady work is enough. The wheel turns on and the river flows, and in that endless, patient rhythm, he finds a kind of gentle grace. As the sun lowers in the sky, the miller begins the final tasks of the day. He closes the sluice gates slowly, watching as the water wheel eases to a gentle stop. The river still murmurs softly, but the mill is quiet now, the stones resting after their long, patient work. The miller sweeps the floor with a broom of bound twigs, the rustle of straw on stone a soothing sound in the soft evening light. He takes care to gather every trace of flour and grain, leaving the space neat and ready for the next day. In the flickering glow of a single lantern, the mill feels like a sanctuary, cool, quiet, and at rest. He tends to the tools, checking the gears and wooden shafts, wiping them down with a cloth of rough linen. Each stroke is deliberate and calm, a final act of respect for the tools that have served him so faithfully. The scent of warm wood and dust hangs in the air, and the miller breathes it in, grateful for this simple life. Outside, the evening sky glows with the soft colors of sunset. pale rose and gentle gold fading into deep blue. The miller steps to the door and looks out across the quiet water. Birds wheel and settle in the trees, their songs a soft farewell to the day. The river flows on, a silver thread winding through the hush of twilight. The miller lingers for a moment, his hands resting on the worn wooden doorframe. There is no rush now, no task to chase, only the slow unfolding of dusk, the quiet grace of the world at rest. With the day's work done, the miller closes the heavy wooden door and latches it tight. The cool stone of the mill holds the day's warmth, and he presses a hand to it for a final moment. A silent farewell to the patient labor that has shaped his life. He walks slowly along the path that leads home, the gentle hush of evening a balm to the senses. The river hums beside him, its steady voice a quiet song that carries him onward. The air is cool and sweet, touched with the scent of wood smoke and fresh earth. As he walks, he passes neighbors returning from the fields, each one moving with the same calm weariness that comes from a day of honest work. They nod to each other in the soft light, sharing small smiles and quiet words that need no hurry. The miller's cottage comes into view, its thatched roof golden in the last light of day. A thin wisp of smoke curls from the chimney, and the warm glow of a fire flickers in the hearth. His wife stands in the doorway, her smile a gentle welcome, the children's laughter a sweet balm to the quiet evening. He steps inside, setting aside the day's cares as he crosses the threshold. The small room is warm and full of simple comforts, the smell of bread baking, the soft murmur of his children's voices, the gentle touch of his wife's hand in his own. As night settles over the village, the miller sits by the hearth, the soft crackle of the fire a lullaby to his tired bones. Outside, the river flows on, the wheel waits for dawn, and the quiet world holds its breath in the gentle dark. Here, in this moment of stillness and warmth, the miller finds his rest. The day has ended, the wheel has turned, and in the slow, patient rhythm of water and stone, he knows a peace as old as the river itself.